Hello, and welcome to Slight Flame's first video in our series about getting a website that delivers real results. As the saying goes, and it's a saying that holds true in the world of creating websites, well done is half begun. So our first focus is to make sure that you start out with the right foundations. Since you're watching this video, you probably have or are interested in creating a website for you or someone else's business, organization, or club. And surprisingly, the planning process is very similar for most websites. There are a number of steps involved in building a website, but in this video series, we're going to focus on how you can get started the right way by having a solid plan in place, as that really forms the foundation for everything. And once you have that plan in place, then it makes building your website and using it as a business tool much, much easier. So in terms of getting started the right way, there are a number of things that we really want to consider. And this guide is going to help us kind of look at all of these so that we can come in at the end with some really solid content and a really good idea of how our website's going to come together. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have a look at our business needs and our user needs. This is really important because it helps us establish what our business does for our users and why our users might come to our business in the first place. After that, we're going to have a look at creating some goals that help define what success might look like for our business and our users through our website. We're going to have a look at our competitors because we can learn a lot from them, from the pages that they have, the content that they might be using, and what activity they're doing online, so we don't have to, reinvent the wheel, so to speak. We're also going to have a think about who our users might be in a little bit more detail so we can understand maybe what they fear, maybe what gets them excited, where they look for information, and hopefully even talk to some real users so that we can get some solid insights about how they would like to use your website. From all of this, we're going to create a pretty high-level plan where we look at what pages we want to have on the website, what types of actions might be really important on the website, and how, at a really high level, we're going to be able to align our business goals and our users' goals so that we can create a website that kind of complements both of the needs of those two user groups. And from that, we're going to start looking at how we can create content and be a little bit more detailed around what that content will be, what the objectives of that content on those specific pages will be, and how that content is going to help you get the most out of the traffic that's coming to your website. But before we go into all of this, I'm going to talk to you about one of the most important things anyone building a website needs to know, and that's how a website works. And I don't really mean technically, I mean more around the theory of things. And the first thing to consider is that your website is not a visibility tool. Your website is the tool that helps moves users from leads into conversions. The only exception to this would be SEO. And the reason that would be the exception is because people search for things using things called search engines, like we have just here. This is Google, for example. When someone types a product or a service or a business name into Google, there's results that will show up here. One of the things that you can do really well on your website is something called search engine optimization, and that's how you get your business and content in front of people for relevant searches. That would be defined as a form of visibility, but it's not the only form of visibility. Visibility is something that we could also term marketing and would be much more commonly known as marketing as well. And marketing really is visibility. It's how you get your business or your organization or your club or your ideas in front of people. And there's a number of ways you can do that. One of them that we mentioned was through SEO, but there's other options as well. Some of them are paid, some of them are free, and some of them cost you in other ways. So Google AdWords would be a really good example of a paid visibility tactic where you can create ads in Google, so when people type in specific things, you can try and make sure that your website comes up first. There's social media, so when people are kind of scrolling through their social media accounts, your content can pop up, and if it's relevant to their interests or a problem that they're trying to solve at the time, then maybe they'll click on your link. Referral network, can be a really strong one. So if people have worked with you before, they might tell other people about your business. That's a pretty cool form of visibility, and that's one of the ones that you really, really want to start working. And print ads are another classic visibility tactic. So that would be in newspapers, that would be in magazines, not as common nowadays, but for some businesses that can get some good results. And not all visibility is around creating direct leads. Sometimes visibility is really about creating awareness and brand presence in market. So larger companies like Nike or McDonald's or even Google, for example, might do marketing strategies that are really just focused on creating brand awareness. And so what we want our visibility to do, particularly when it's kind of targeted, is we want our visibility to create traffic and leads that come to our website. And so we define traffic or leads as people who visit your website when they've been exposed to one of your visibility tactics. And once we get a lead to our website, we really want to nurture them and turn them into a conversion. So when people who are on your website interact with the site, moving towards some sort of transaction, we'd call these conversions. So that could be clicking on a call to action, that could be even purchasing a product or reading a piece of content. We really want to turn our traffic into a form of conversion so that we're building that experience, we're building that loyalty, and we're turning them into ideally a customer. And then once we've converted that person into a customer and they've transacted with them however we want them to do that, whether that's requesting a quote, purchasing a product, reading some of our information, registering for the club, then we have them as a customer and they enter a whole new life cycle that you can use the website to control. But this video series isn't about using your website as that larger kind of customer loyalty tool. But if there's enough demand, we might kind of do a video for that a little bit more down the track. So as we can kind of see from this, and it kind of makes sense as well, you know, your website plays a very, very specific part in the bigger picture of your kind of marketing strategy. And that's really around once these kind of visibility tactics are working and they're delivering you traffic, taking a lot of care and showing a lot of love for those website visitors and converting them into a customer in some way or another. So the next video in the series, we're going to talk about those particular business and user needs. We're going to really clearly outline those and use them to develop a platform for our goals. And we're going to create some goals, obviously, off that are going to help us kind of understand more about what your business and what your users are really trying to achieve on your website. So thank you so much for watching the first video in our series, and we'll look forward to catching you in the next one.